Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Motivated Results. I had a couple minutes between a couple things I was doing here, grocery shopping and a couple other things, and I wanted to go over something I saw like on my Yahoo front page thing where they were talking about Michael B. Jordan's training and diet for his role in the movie Creed. And I dislike when celebrities or whoever released this does this kind of thing. I think they did the same thing for like Thor and in the movie Thor in the movie Thor. Hemsworth. I can't remember his first name. In the movie Thor. Anyways, I digress. When they do this, they give you the actors training and a small glimpse at their diet. And I don't like this for a couple of different reasons. I can see myself as a young man wanting to emulate this sort of thing because I'm trying to look for that similar style body. And one thing that I will say before we move on to any more of this video is that please keep in mind that these are celebrities. You and I are very different than Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan, for preparing for this role, probably had somebody that was taking care of his diet, somebody that was probably cooking his meals for him. He probably had a number of different trainers in addition to his boxing coaches. He probably had strength and conditioning training. In addition to that, you and I are in very different worlds than him and I and yourself. So keep that in mind. And so what I'm gonna do is show you guys that glimpse of the diet, break it down into what we're looking at as far as macronutrients, and tell you what issues I have with the diet from a longevity standpoint, and also why I feel like this isn't something that you need to attempt. So let's go to the whiteboard. Okay, I'm having a little bit of an issue when it comes to lighting, but what we're gonna do is just kind of lean over here and kind of point out a couple things. Let's get into this a little bit. So what you're gonna notice is I've broken down the meals that they've shown us here on this list. We have 6 meals total. If you're having a hard time reading this, just squint really hard. I feel like that might help. Really bad handwriting. So a couple of assumptions before we get into it have to be made. This is just basically a list of items that was provided on the article that I read. When we're talking about specifically here, we're looking at 45 grams of carbohydrates. Well, we're not exactly sure what these are from. It could be oats or rice, so some numbers are going to be skewed. I mean, if we're talking about oats, we're talking about a certain specific amount of fiber that's going to add up here at the very end. If we're talking about white rice versus brown rice, these numbers will differ a little bit, but I'm assuming these are going to be oats mostly, and brown rice when available, only because it's going to add to the fiber content. A couple other things that I'm not aware of is when it talks about protein shake, we have no idea what that could be. That could be something as easy as just a whey protein scoop, or it could be multiple scoops, or it could be a whole concoction of things that go into this protein shake. So we have no idea what that is. For number's sake, I went ahead and just added 1 scoop of like a normal whey isolate concentrate blend. For carbohydrates, I mostly use oats throughout this list, but I think that it does sometimes specify whether it was rice or sweet potatoes, things like that. So I'm gonna run through this very quickly because I'm trying to make a very short video for you guys, but just giving you guys an example. So you can see the meals on your own. A couple of things that I really like about this diet. If you're going and using what people would call like clean foods, and we supplement all of the carbohydrates with what are called more nutrient dense carbohydrates, where we're talking about like rice, or talking about things like sweet potato, which does contain quite a bit of fiber, then it's a really good option. At the end of the day, you're looking at about 31 grams of fiber, which is pretty good. I would actually bump that up a little bit, because if we're totaling out everything at the very end, we're looking at about 175 grams of protein, which is quite a bit of protein. We're talking about a lot of tissue-based protein as well. 8 ounces of protein, 8 ounces of protein, 8 ounces of protein. So you're talking about quite a bit of protein, so I would want that a little higher. Most of my clients, I feel like, benefit for slightly higher protein. Overall, that's a lot of freaking protein, which isn't my concern. That's not really a concern whatsoever. My concern is the fat content. You're talking about 32 grams of fat a day. That's quite low for his activity level. I can see how the low fat and almost what I would call moderate to low carbohydrates are gonna lead to this ripped, conditioned physique. But with that said, attainable and sustainable for a normal individual. Michael B. Jordan probably had a number of specialists with him that were taking care of his nutrition, that were taking care of his diet and making sure he was healthy throughout the process. Probably had some OJ that he was taking along with this. And so at the same time, he's fine. You and I, normal individuals that have normal day jobs, that don't have trainers, that don't have nutritionists, are gonna find some things eventually will give in this. And this, to me, is not a sustainable diet either. Overall, my main concern is the fat content. That to me is very low. But overall, I mean, this is a fairly sound diet. Once again, my concern is just the longevity sake and the ability that not all of us would be able to maintain this type of diet. Why? Because first of all, it's very regimented when you're talking about 6 meals a day. Most people would not enjoy this type of diet, and most people aren't looking to have this sort of level of conditioning and having this sort of level of activity where they can warrant something like this. So once again, this is just a way for me to kind of get the information out. Please urge you guys not to try something like this. Once again, you and I are not like Michael B. Jordan, and you and I do not have a group of specialists that are looking out for your health constantly throughout this period of time where you're trying to achieve these goals. So 32 grams of fat with a high activity level is going to lead to issues moving forward for an individual doing this for a long period of time. I have a video about that coming up soon, but that's it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. It was just primarily informative and hopefully urging some of you not to just do exactly what you read online. If you guys like this type of video, hit the like button. See you guys next time. Peace.